Hi, this is your spreader bar pack. This is what you get in the pack. You get the bag, you get a spreader bar, you get 3 birds, you get 10 squid, 2 shackles, a swivel and a 10-0 Bristow hook. So the extra pieces you will need to finish off your spreader bar are 2 6-foot lengths of 200-pound mono, 1 8 to 9 foot length of 400-pound mono, 1 ruler, 1 permanent marker, pair of scissors, crimping pliers, stainless steel thimbles, loop protectors, beads, 1.2mm oval aluminium crimps, and 2mm oval aluminium crimps. So the first thing we do is put a crimp on the 400-pound mono. We're doing the centre line first, around about a foot down from one end. We slide a bead on and slide that down to the crimp. We take the squid, cut the very tip off around about 1/2 inch, take a bird, insert the squid over the end of the bird and take the 400-pound mono and insert it up through the squid, the bird, so it comes out the front of the bird. So we've put our squid on, our bird on, and they're sitting against the bead. Now put 2 crimps on, a loop protector. I'm going to take the shackle and the stainless steel thimble, thread that on, tag end back through the 2 crimps and pull everything down. So there we've got our crimp, loop protector, stainless thimble and shackle. What we now do is crimp the first one down. Got about an inch gap just in front of the bird. And the second crimp. Twist the mono because it adds strength. Crimp the second crimp down. And trim off the tag end. Next thing we need is the spreader bar, a bead and a crimp. You take the end of the 400-pound mono, which is going down towards the hook, and go through one of the centre swivels. Put it all the way up to the squid and put a bead on, followed by a crimp, and again pull it all the way up. And this is where you're setting the first squid, the first distance. So what I like to do, put it up quite tight behind the crimp, keeping it in position at the front. So grab hold of the crimp, pull it up and give about 1 centimetre space so it's got a little bit of movement. And crimp it in position. And then the top squid and bar are fixed in position. Then take the end of the 400-pound mono and go through the other swivel in the centre position and pull it all through. So what we now have to do is put the other 4 squid, or 3 squid, on the centre line. So after the first one's in position, you put the second one on, put it all the way up, followed by a bead, followed by a crimp, we then put the third squid on, try and go centre as possible through the front of the squid, that way it will run nice and smoothly in the water. Follow the squid is a bead, and a crimp, followed by the 4th squid. And then we move on to the sidelines. So now we do the sidelines. We start the 200-pound mono, put a crimp on about 8 inches down from one end, followed by a bead. We then need to put a squid on. Pull that all the way down to the bead. We go up through the bird, through a crimp, through the swivel on the sideline, back through the crimp, pull down fairly tight, leaving a little loop for movement, and crimp the whole lot down. We then repeat that the other side, so 8 inches from one end, small crimp, a bead, we put that through the squid, put it all the way down to the bead, through the bird, the crimp, into the sideline swivel, back through the crimp, pull down fairly snug, just leaving a small loop for a bit of movement, and crimp everything in place. Then take the sideline and a squid, put the sideline through the squid, pull it up, bead, crimp, and then the last squid through the squid, bead to hold it in position, followed by a large crimp which you're going to double through, creating a loop to hold everything in position. Now this is the important bit, and this is where the ruler and your Sharpie come into play. So we'll start on the centre line. And I start from tail of the squid to the first squid, I give 6 inches. Second squid to the third squid. So from the tail to the nose of the squid I give 4 inches. And again from the third squid to the fourth squid, adjust it so we've got 4 inches again. Then start on the sideline. From the first to the second I allow 4 inches. Second to the third, again 4 inches. And repeat on the other side. And it's quite important that everything is symmetrical and laid out straight. 4 inches. Perfect. What we do then is take a Sharpie, mark the line just with a small black dot in front of each squid, just so they know the spacings. We allow that to dry, so then we could just pull everything into position, move the squid that we need to, pull everything in position and crimp it all up. And I'll just show you in a minute everything crimped up and then how we attach the swivel. So after measuring everything out, putting the crimps in place and squeezing them down, we just then set all the squid all against the bars, beads, and then the tag ends either side. All you do is you make a small loop on either side just in case you should ever need to connect anything up or you want to extend the bar. But that's it. So everything now is all connected in position and set, and the last thing we need to do is put the swivel on so that we can attach the stinger. So the last squid on the centre line, we now put the swivel on. So you start off with 1, 2 beads, followed by a loop protector that goes through the thimble and the swivel. Go through, back up of the cells, and through the crimps. And everything down nicely. Bring the first crimp just off the end of the thimble. Use the right size. Crimp it down nice. Then get to do the second crimp. But what I like to do, rather than just leaving it straight, I like to twist the line, which just adds a bit of shock absorption and a bit of strength. I've twisted it up, nice and tight, then crimp it again with the right size crimping tool. There we have your spreader bar complete. Centre line of 400 pounds, everything neatly spaced out, followed by the last squid, which is just inside, has a swivel for using the other shackle to connect with the stinger. And that has run lovely in the water, creating loads of splash, and we'll go through how you tie up the stinger next. This is where the bag really comes in. 9 times out of 10 they're a bit awkward to keep. You just gather them up, open your bag, they're clear one side and perforate the other so that you can hang them up and dry them out. Put the bar in, followed by the squid, and everything is neatly packed away. So we start off with the hook end. We have 2 crimps, followed by a thimble and a loop protector. Thimble goes through the eye of the hook, and I like to have 2, 3 inches, 4 inches of mono doubled over, the sort of bite protection. I have had thresher sharks coming up and taking these. So crimp the first hook down, nice and snug. Again, always make sure you use the correct size crimps and correct size crimping tool. Again, I like to twist it. Again, it adds in a little bit of shock absorption and protection. Stretching the line. Crimp down that nice and tight. You need to follow that with a crimp, a bead, and then your stinger. So we've crimped on the hook, we've put the crimp on, bead on, followed by the stinger itself. We then crimp on, we use double crimps, spring protector, stainless steel thimble onto 1,000-pound shackle, and crimp that on the other end. The last thing to do is to set the hook the right distance inside the end of the stinger. To do this, you just pull it up, pull the hook through so that the U of the hook, the bend of the hook, is about an inch inside the end of the skirt. You take your Sharpie again, mark the front of the squid and let that dry so we can then crimp it in position. When you put it all together, it will sit perfectly inside the squid, so that when the tuna comes up or a shark comes up, it always goes for the tail and it will get hooked nicely. So the last thing to do is to shackle your stinger to the swivel in the centre. Do it up tight. Pair of pliers with a little tweak, and there you go. There's your stinger. It's around about the same length as the entire centre line on the bar, and you can see the hook is just inside the skirt, and that is ready to fish. Use the other swivel shackle to connect to your swivel attached to your rod. Troll that, and yeah, tight lines.